Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Melanie from Hometown Paints, and I am very excited to be here with you today. And it is actually 3 minutes before I'm supposed to start going live, but I just have to say that I'm a very impatient person, and I couldn't sit here and wait for 3 more minutes. So I just figured I'd go ahead and start. All right, so we are going to paint these fun, easy palette knife flowers today. So I hope y'all are ready. I enjoyed watching, I've got paper everywhere. I enjoyed watching Erica last hour. So if you did that, if you watched Erica and you've painted along with her, then you are definitely going to be able to do this. And if you're thinking that you don't have a palette knife, or I don't know, if this looks scary to you, don't be scared. And if you don't have a palette knife, you don't have to use a palette knife. Does that sound good? All right. I forgot to say hello, tell me where you're from, all that good stuff. And I'm so excited to do this with you guys. I love it when we have these fun days and we all just like paint all day long. It's so fun. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Erica. This is actually like a weird shaped canvas. And we all posted the list of stuff. That's called the list of stuff that you need. And this is a 7x14 stretched canvas. I had to look it up because it's so weird. Like, I don't buy this kind all the time. I bought this at Walmart. It came in a 2-pack. And I have painted, like, I just like it a lot. Like, it's not really big, but it's big enough. And you can, like, do cool stuff on it. Like, you can turn it this way and do stuff. Anyways, I digress. If you do not have this exact same weird size canvas, it doesn't matter. You can use the 8x10 or any normal size rectangle canvas. You're just gonna have, you could add more flowers, or you just might have more extra space on one side. So it's no big deal. Don't stress. You can use anything you want. Just grab a piece of cardboard if that's all you got. All right, let's see. Hey, everybody. I did want to remind everybody that silly old Facebook, come on, show me your name. Maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's StreamYard, but I am using StreamYard, and you have to give StreamYard permission to show me your name. So if you say hello and I just don't repeat your name, it's because you haven't like given StreamYard permission. And you can do that. There's a link like at the top of this, I think. I'm just going to point out. The other thing that I want to say before we start, I do have my pretty shirt on, my Creatives Coast to Coast shirt on, but I'm in Tennessee, even though I'm wearing this Yankees hat. I'm in Tennessee, and it is still cold here, and my studio is not in my home, so I have to like heat it separately. So it's cold, y'all, so I just had to like put my shirt on. But anyways, y'all don't care. Good morning, Selena. Good morning from South Carolina. Good morning, Elizabeth. Okay, let's do this. I have a cup of water and a whole bunch of brushes and some palette knives. The palette knife that I have that's kind of weird, let's see if I can get it up here, is, well, there we go. It's got this weird shape on it. So I'm going to use that. But if you just have one that's shaped like this, you're more than welcome to use that. And if you have none of these things, I'm such a mess, just use a paintbrush. Doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. Look at that. I made a mess. Imagine that. I probably shouldn't have wore this white shirt either, y'all, because messes are coming. Hello, Tamara from Nebraska. You know what? I have been in Nebraska one day in my life. One time. We were going to South Dakota, and like we were right next to the border, and we were like, we're just gonna drive over there so that we can say that we went to Nebraska. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this teal color. That's what's in the background right here, and it's called something that starts with a V. Viridian or something like that. But y'all, if you don't have this color, grab any old teal you have. It doesn't matter. You can use any colors you want, right? But I'm going to tell you what I used originally, and that's what we're going to do. I'm also used this thicker paint. Like a lot of times when I teach on here, I show you guys with the craft paint, and you can use craft paint. It's just not gonna like pop up off the canvas. Like you won't actually feel the texture right there. And that doesn't matter. Yeah, it's totally fine. The other thing you could do, wish I could find it, is you can add gel medium. And I say this and now I think telling you the wrong thing. You can add like a thickening agent to this craft paint, which I ain't doing all that today, y'all. I'm just using my already thick paint. But if you don't have thick paint, it's fine. Use thin paint. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and paint. How about that? I am gonna start with a brush, and I usually, I didn't wash that one out very well. I usually use an angled brush, like for just about everything that I can. It's just kind of like a flat brush, but it also has a point, so makes me happy. So I'm gonna kind of sketch in with my paint the painting. So I'm gonna start with this color, and you might be thinking, that's weird. It doesn't really matter what you sketch this in with, what color, because we're gonna paint over so much of this. So this is just kind of like a tall rectangle, and on this canvas, I'd say it's about 1 inch from the right side and about 2 inches from the left side. But if you have a different size canvas, you just kind of put it wherever you want to put it, right? I want mine to be a little wider, so I'm just gonna make it a little wider. Put that there. We're gonna do 3 big flowers. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just like sketch them in. They're kind of like a big circle. I want one there. I want one here that's going to kind of overlap. And I want a big one here. And I'm just, you can take your brush and just make a big circle. I just kind of did some dashes around. Obviously, these flowers are not this color, but it doesn't matter because we're just going to paint over all this stuff, okay? All right, so let's get down to this palette knife stuff. What if you don't have a palette knife at all? Hey, y'all. Hey, Katie. Katie's one of my Hometown Creative members. Yay! My online painting membership. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hey, Miss White Owl, and hey, Elizabeth and Geo. So excited on these days. All right, so if you don't have a palette knife, what could you do? You could get like an old gift card, like some kind of hard plastic thing. And I thought I had one sitting around here, but I don't. Sometimes people have used business cards. Just something, this is something we're gonna scrape with. So whatever you can find to do that with will work just fine. I'm trying to see if I need, okay, I'm just gonna start with white. So I squirted out my white, which might be a little hard to see. I'm gonna get this paint on the back of my palette knife, and I'm just gonna start scraping it on. And it's gonna mix with this color that we already have on there, and that's fine. Everything's wet. To me, this is kind of like spreading icing on a cake, especially if you have this thick paint. Like, I don't know, it just sits up off the canvas. You can hear the birds singing. That's awesome. Okay. One thing I'm going to do is put this completely on the painting because you don't need to see my silly face. Let me get this technology fixed. There we go. Okay. Those birds are probably living like where they're not supposed to be living, like in the gutters of my building. And I'm glad that it's birds you can hear and not the neighbor cutting the grass. So yay. Welcome to Tennessee, y'all. All All right, so you might need to turn your hand when you do that, like just get it on there in a way that you like. And since this is so thick, like you can kind of move it around. If you put it on there and you're like, that didn't look right, you can just squish it around and keep moving it. And this will stay wet just a tad bit longer than that craft paint will. And that's what you want. Yeah, that line's not right at all, but I'm not even going to worry about it. Wipe your palette knife off. Don't be like me and not wipe it off and have tons of messiness on the back of it. All right, so I wiped it off. I might hit this a little bit with my dryer. I'm gonna start working on the flowers, like my first layer of flowers. And they are pretty similar to the flowers that Erica showed you guys, but which are like my favorite kind of flowers, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this so I can show you what I'm doing. I'm gonna get this fluorescent pink color because I love this color. I've got one that's called Purple Red. This looks like old paint. Let's see if it even works. It's a pinky color. I've got light magenta. So basically, if you didn't go to the store and buy everything that I had on the list, which I hope you didn't because it doesn't matter, just get some pinks. Like if you want pink flowers, get some pinks and reds. And that's what we use. If you don't want pink flowers, whatever color you've chosen, just get different shades of that color that you chose. So you'll have some variation in there. Get some more white. All right, so using my good old paper plate like I always do. Jeannie said, what kind of paint are you using? Oh, no big deal. All right, so there's my colors so far. I am using mainly Master's Touch acrylic paint, which is a thicker paint. It's thicker than craft paint. You do not have to use this. If you haven't want to use it, great. If you only have craft paint, it will work. It's just not going to be as thick as this paint. Like it won't. I wish y'all could feel this because it has actual texture, like it's raised off the canvas. But you can use that other paint. The way to make it thicker, if you don't have like a thickening agent, is just to do a lot of coats. Like just go over and over and over. Good morning, Jean. All right, so keep in mind what Erica taught you a minute ago. All right. Now I watched it and I'm hoping she told you. I'm hoping this is what she said. You kind of go around the circle, right? If I was using a brush, find a brush. If I was using a brush, I would just make like short, choppy little marks around and around and around and around all the way to the center of the flower. But I'm not going to use a brush. I'm going to use this palette knife. And I'm using this one because of that edge that it has. It's going to help my flowers have like a rounded edge. If you do not have that, you can do the same thing with this one. You're just going to have to make it round on your own. Hope that makes sense. Let me show you. Okay, so I'm going to just start with one of these colors. I'm just going to grab a color. That paint is yucky on the back. And I'm just going to start just laying it down, picking it up, laying it down, picking it up, just over and over. And it's gonna mix with stuff. Okay, now is when I have to move things. Hold on. Because I can't get my arm in that right position, so I'll just move it around. So I've got 4 different pinks out on my palette. And I just grabbed one. So I'm just going to take that around and around, short, choppy little marks. And I'll do one with the other palette knife just to show y'all. And I'll do one with a brush. This uses a lot of paint. A lot. All right. So it sort of looks like a flower. Hey, Jackie. Good morning, Angie. Erica said, put your craft paint out and let it sit for a few minutes. It'll get thick. Well, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. All right. So now I didn't like wipe that off or anything. I'm just going to grab one of these other colors and just start adding it in the same kind of way. And remember I told y'all I was impatient. What I actually do is just start like bouncing between all these colors that I have out here. The bright pink, the maroon color, and you just kind of start adding it in the same kind of way. Just short little choppy marks in a rounded manner. Trying to think of words while you're live sometimes is difficult. Let me get some of that bright pink. So everybody's flowers are going to look different because we might have different shades of pink. We might have a different instrument. We might have, you might not want neon pink in yours. They're all going to look different. And that is cool, right? Because all flowers in real life look different. All right. Can you see how thick that is? Look how thick it is. You see that? So you can probably even, like you can see it. All right. I'm going to wipe this off. Nope, I lied. I'm going to get some white and do some white in there. And I'm just barely touching this. Like I'm not even touching the canvas right now. I'm just touching the top of the paint that's already on there. I'm just barely touching it. Now, something else that you can do, and I probably will do, but like all this paint is wet, right? Because I just like jumped in it and did it. You could do one layer of one color and then let it dry or dry it. Then go back and do another color. And what will happen is the paint won't blend if you do that. It'll just kind of sit on top of each other. So it kind of depends on what you like. All right, so now I'll use this one, the pointy one, and show you that you can do the same thing. Whoop. I probably need more paint. I do. I used up all my paint. Still got that. Let's see. Katie says, so if a painting has texture like that, it's because of using a knife and thick paint. Yeah, mostly, Katie. That's mostly the deal. I'm sure there are other ways to do it. There's something called modeling paste that I'm going to say I'm not a master at. There's what I'm looking for. But if you want it really thick, like really thick, you can use modeling paste, and you can use it. you can use it and then paint right on top of it, but if you do that, it's going to the paint's going to mix with it. If you want it really thick, do it, get it on your palette, get it on your canvas, sorry, and then let it dry and then paint over it, and you'll have so much texture you won't know what to do with it. All right. So you have to kind of like do the roundness with the point of this one, since we're using a different palette knife. And I will say that I've been painting flowers for a couple of years. And the first time that somebody was like, hey, pick up a palette knife and use that, I got upset because I thought it looked terrible. And I was like, I hate this. I'm not using this. I'm not doing this. And I painted back over it with paintbrush. So if that is you today, go right ahead. Please don't get upset, but go right ahead and paint back over it with paintbrush. But it just takes a little time sometimes to get used to it, get the hang of it, because you have to be loose and like willing to let it be ugly sometimes to get to the pretty, if that makes any sense at all. So you can see these look a little different because I've used a different tool, but it's still, I'm going to grab some white while we're at it and start putting white in there. Still looks like an abstract flower. I can't pick any paint up. All right. Wiping that one off. And now I'm going to do that top one with a brush. So that's what we have so far. Looking crazy. That's okay. All right. I'm going to use my angle brush and just start making little choppy marks around. And I do it fast and jump around. And I think the less you think about it, the easier this will be and the better they will look. Obviously, they're not realistic, but I like it. So you do yours however you like it. And grab white. All right, so that looks totally different in my opinion, but it doesn't look bad. Like, still looks like a flower, right? So let's see, what are y'all talking about? Yes, Cindy. Sometimes you have to let it be ugly to get to the pretty. That is so, isn't that the truth about like so many things? All right, so this bothers the heck out of me. I'm going to go back over it with this to add a little bit of that same kind of texture, because that's just how I am, and I don't like that they all look different. So take from this lesson what you will. and make your flowers however you want to make them. And that's another, like, one thing that about these flowers is sometimes I just have to force myself to stop because you can overwork them, that's for sure. And sometimes I'm like, I just keep on and it'll be beautiful. And then I'm like, no, that's not beautiful. I don't know what you did there. All right, I got to do something over here. You just kind of play with it until you're happy. And you also leave it alone and do your leaves. So this can like rest a little bit and you can go back and like decide if you like it or not. All right. So if you have a larger canvas and you feel like you need more than 3 flowers, then give it more than 3 flowers. Like, that's totally fine. Give it as many flowers as you want. Something that I like to try to keep in mind when I do bunches of flowers is I like to keep things like in an odd number. So 3 flowers or 5 flowers, something like that. Just makes it more visually pleasing. And I can't explain why, but it just does. All right, so I'm going to put out some greens. I have a chrome oxide green, a light olive green, and a light green. But in my opinion, this is like a Kelly green. This is like a lime green. And there's pink all over my hand. This other one is kind of like an olive green. So just take some different shades of green and that's all you got to do. All right, I'm gonna use my paintbrush again. If you want a palette knife this part, then you can, but I'm not gonna. And if you don't like the palette knife, you're probably like, thank goodness. So this is all still super wet, right? I haven't dried anything, so I'm trying to decide if I want to or not. But right now, I'm going to pick one of these greens because we're going to end up using them all. And I'm going to start adding some leaves in there. And it's going to mix, like if I overlap this white, it's going to mix with the white. It doesn't matter. I think Erica said earlier, like when you're thinking about making these leaves, they're kind of like a football shape. And that's what I always say too. They're kind of like a football shape. All right, so I already jumped over here into this lighter green and started adding some lighter green. You can do it 2 ways. You can paint everything with one color green and then go back and add parts and pieces of the other color greens. I can't help myself. I just start like grabbing and throwing colors in there. So I will try to remember to say it out loud. I want these leaves to come down over my container. I want one that comes over here. And I'm just going up to the very edge of my flower because it's so wet. And when I'm putting other greens in there, I'm just kind of blobbing it in there. Just like grabbing it, laying it down. I think I'm going to do something else in here. Oh no. I dropped the brush, y'all. Okay. It's okay. This is what happens in life. Okay. Let's try that again. I have green all over that flower, but I'm not going to worry about it. All right. I'm going to put green in that little spot. I'm going to put some here. So just keep that football shape in mind. If it, in my opinion, the messier, the better. But also, you do you. I'm going to put some up here. The other thing that I always tell people, like in my membership and when I'm doing paint parties in person, is that I paint pretty darn quickly. If that stresses you out and you're trying to paint along with me, I'm very sorry. But you can go back and watch these videos, right? You don't have to paint right this second. You can go back and watch later, and then you can like pause and rewind. So don't forget about that. All right, and I need something over here. And something up here. So I laid the screen in kind of the same way that I laid in these colors on the flowers. I'm not brushing it like a normal painting where you're using the paintbrush and you're dragging the paintbrush across. I'm just grabbing a bunch of paint and like setting it on the canvas and kind of dabbing around. And that will definitely keep it thicker. Happy accidents, yes. I'm Bob Ross over here today, but with flowers. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. I know everybody's at different places, and you know, it's hard, and you have different supplies and all that. That looks decent, right? That looks decent. I'm looking at it on the camera. Let's see. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Sally. Yeah, you gotta have a good attitude when you're painting and you're making art because it's fun, right? It's supposed to be a fun activity, so you might as well not worry and stress about it. Angie said, definitely the messier the better. I normally make, however, I'm a slower painter and don't like to. Yeah, well, I don't like to rush. I just have been doing this so long. It's like I know what to do now, and I'm just like, let's do it, and I get it done. So yeah, don't rush. But these videos will be here for you guys, and you can always come back and watch them. All right, we just did like all the hard parts. Okay, so let me see. It's 10:30. We have to. What else do we have to do? I also grabbed this primary blue color. I'm going to put that out of my palette just a tiny bit. I also grabbed this darker turquoise color. It's called turquoise blue, but it's really just like a darker turquoise color than the background. And we're going to put glitter on this thing. Also got some shiny paint. It's called Brushed Metal. It's a folk art paint. It's just kind of metallic, but you can't really see it. But I did use it in the original one. And then we're going to do the glitter at the end, so I won't talk about that. All right, so we've still got white out here. I put this blue, this bright blue, this dark turquoise, and then this dark metallic-y gray color in there. And what I'm going to do first is grab this blue, and I'm going to put some in, just wipe some in this thing, the container thing. You do not have to do this part. If your white has already dried, it's still going to work because it's going to like sit on top of the paint. I'm just grabbing a few. I'm using that palette knife that's pointy and just using the point of the knife to add, I don't even know what this is, just some messy stuff down here. Now I'm also going to grab some of that bright pink. I'm not going to put a lot of it in there, but just a spot here or there. Boop, boop, boop. Just brings your eye down and gives you something else to look at in that white. All right. I'm trying to decide if I should dry these a little bit. Maybe I should. I got paint everywhere. And I gotta fix that green blob that I put in the middle of that one. All right, the other paintbrush that I'm gonna use today is a round brush. And it just makes things easier to do. I'll show you here in just a minute. I still have some work to do on these flowers. Still gotta do the background. I still have work to do on the leaves and the extra flowery stuff in here. All right, that's good enough. So yeah, let's look at this one again. I'm going to use this brush to put these flowers in. I don't know what you call these, but they're just like some small added little fun stuff in there. And they're real easy to do. All right, so hopefully this is dry enough. We'll see. All right, this is a round brush. So it kind of comes to a natural point. And I'll start with the white. I'm just, you know what? Forget I said that. So sorry. So sorry. I have to put the background in before I do that. How did I forget that? What I'm going to do instead is take some of that dark turquoise, whatever brush you have, and just like drop a little of it in some of these leaves. Just a spot. You could use that dark blue. Again, you might be thinking, what are we doing? But I promise you, it comes together. There's somebody that says trust the process all the time. I don't like to say that, but it's true. And the other thing is, if whatever you paint on here, like this big blob of green, obviously I don't want that big blob of green in there. Once the paint dries, you can paint over it, y'all. It's a beautiful thing about paint. Gio said, what is the size of the canvas? Good question. It's a 7 by 14, which I got this at Walmart. And it's like a rectangular, I don't know. You don't have to use this one, but if you want this exact one, I got it at Walmart. Thank you. Whoever said I love you roses. Thank you. Angie said, is that like a glass jar? How do you know what size jar and flowers? This is whatever jar you want it to be, Angie. It's not real, right? Like, I don't know. It could be glass. It could be white. It could be an old jar with paint chipping off of it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And how do I know the size of the jar and the flowers? I'll tell you what I do. I just try to feel the canvas, right? Like, I don't want to put a little thing of flowers right down here and nothing else in the rest of the canvas. You want your artwork to be balanced. And I can go down a rabbit hole here. There's symmetrical and there's asymmetrical balance. But basically, you want it to be balanced. You want your the composition of your work to be full and what else can I say? Like when you look at a piece of art, you want it to draw your eye from like place to place and have texture and movement, and I don't know, it's a whole art theory kind of thing, but basically I'm just trying to like feel the canvas in a way that is pleasing to the eye. So if that's why it's kind of like up to you, like what do you like? All right, the same thing I did with the weird blues, I'm going to do the same thing on my leaves with like some of those pink colors, that dark pink color. Just put some blobs in. Just, it's like a little, it's almost like if if light was shining on this and you just catch a hint of the color of the flowers reflecting off the leaf, that's kind of what it's like in a abstract way. All right, so before I jump any further, what we're going to do is paint this background. And I'm just going to use this original turquoisey color and a good old paintbrush, whatever one you want, and paint it. That's why I didn't worry earlier if this line wasn't right, because we can paint back over it. Now, I can grab some white and kind of mix it with that if I want. Like if you don't want just a solid color, I don't know why I'm trying to be careful. I've got paint all over me at this point. I always paint the sides of my canvases. Which time do I have? I got 20 minutes. I think we're doing good. Sorry for this weird angle. Okay. Nah, I ran out of paint. Yeah, well, I'm green, Angie. Thank you, Gio. And thank you, Lisa. I love all the texture too. It just gives it something. Just gives it something. Little something, something. And I just keep painting like messier and messier. Like, I don't know. I'm still, we all learn and grow all the time. I'm still learning and figuring out what I like and what I don't like and all that good stuff. And I just keep getting messier and more abstract. And it's making me happy. So that's what I'm just going to keep doing. I just get as close as I can to these objects like the leaves and the flowers. And if they overlap a little bit, that's okay. If you still see a little bit of the white of the canvas, that's okay too. Just gives it a little extra If I don't have any paint on this white shirt by the end of this, it's going to be a miracle. Because I have paint all over my hands. All right, throw some white in there. Make sure I got it all covered. Still hear the birds out there. All right, throw some white in there. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let me wipe. When I have that much paint on my brush, I wipe it off on a paper towel and then put it in my water because it's everywhere. Good morning, Sam. Oh, I hope you do try it. Hey, Erica. Thanks, Erica. Just want to try to help everybody get to be able to paint it. Thank you, Mary Jane. Thank you, Connie. Y'all are so sweet. I gotta tell you, sometimes I love my work and sometimes I'm like, I don't know about that. But I do really like this one, and I think what it is because I just keep doing the same thing over and over. It's this color combination. It's this turquoise and like these pinks. I don't know what it is. I guess that's some color theory, some color wheel stuff. They just look really good together. So you could probably put any kind of flower, any shaped flower against this background, and if it's pink or red, some kind of shade of pink, it's probably gonna look good to you. All right, I need a drink of water because I've been talking. All right, 15 minutes. Let's get this done. Okay. Where are we at? All right, I need to put those flowers that I thought we were going to put in there with this round brush. Now that we have our background on, we can throw them in there, okay? Well, now I'm out of white paint. Jeez. Well, I'm not out of white paint, but I've mixed it up with 17 other colors. So let's get some new white paint. All right, because I have this round brush that has this pretty little tip, I can just kind of lay these in. And you want to try to like, it's going to mix. There it goes, mixing the stuff. And that's okay. Just adds a little something. I don't know, kind of like baby's breath in a way. You don't have to do these, but you can. I don't know, I really like that. I really like that leaf. Do I want to do this? Yeah, let's see, put a couple in here. All right, now let me hold that up and get some more dirty hands. That's kind of what it looks like. Not kind of what that is what it looks like. Oh, cool, Rose. I hope that you do. I can't wait to see that. Luann said, fun, use variety of techniques, made a palette knife from a tulip. That is creative right there, Luann. She made a palette knife out of a toilet paper roll. That's awesome, Luann. I'm so glad. Thank you, Angie. I should probably read all these comments out loud. I'm trying to get this done now. Sorry. Okay, focus. This darker teal, I'm going to get some of that on that same brush, and I'm going to put it, I'm going to do the same kind. Actually, I'm going to try to figure out what I did in the first place. I'm going to mix some of that darker teal with the background color and do some of the same kind of flowers. these little blobs of flowers. That's what happens when you are a quick, messy painter. You can't remember what you did. Whoops. And you can go back, like if that was too much, you can go back and add white. All right, we're going to say that's good enough. That's good enough. Okay, so look at your flowers right now and decide if they need more. Mine definitely does because I have green in it. Okay, so let me grab some. I don't know, that green's not the end of the world. Look, I'm just like scraping that off. I'm gonna add some white to it. White is your highlight color. So I don't know, you always need some of that. It kind of makes everything pop. So yeah, you could spend all day messing with these flowers. I'm going to try not to do that so I can teach you the rest. All right, so that is good. We're going to do this fun part, and you might not be able to see it. Can you see the sparkles? It's so hard to get on camera, but in real life, you can see that, and it's so pretty. All right, this is something you do not have to do, but if you like glitter, I have used the Deco Art Holographic Illusions Crystal Ball color, and it comes out white, but it dries clear. So real fast, I'm going to grab some of that and just like spread it around in the same kind of way that I did on the flowers. And because you can't see it right now, I'm not going to finish this right now. I don't think. Because I need to show you one more thing on here before I run out of time. So yeah, you can't see this, but when it dries, it will be so shiny and pretty, and you'll be like, I'm so glad I did that. If you like glitter. If you don't, then it's perfectly good without the glitter. All right. The last thing that I did on these crazy flowers, and I might really need it to dry a little bit more, but we're out of time. Oh, good. You can see the glitter or sparkle or whatever. I like to use gel pens. And my favorite is a Uniball Signo gel pen because this kind of gel pen will write right on top of this paint. Maybe. Maybe if I get it dry. So I did this whole thing pretty messy, right? So I'm about to do this gel pen pretty messy too. Okay, let's hope for the best. Because really it should be dry. Around these leaf edges, I'm going to put some messy, if I can see them, I'm going to put some messy lines. And you might be thinking, what is that? Why is she doing that? It just adds something. I don't know And this is thick paint, so it's just kind of defines the edges. And again, that crazy line, it just kind of adds some interest, I guess. And then your eyes just kind of like moving around the canvas. Okay, originally on the first ones, I put some in these flowers too, just to give it some dimension. But mine are still super wet. So if you want to do this part, let it dry. And you're going to add the lines in the same kind of way. You're just going to kind of go in circles. The other thing you can do with this pen is kind of add like the center of your flower. You could put little dots in there. You could just make little crazy lines. That's working pretty good. I just did little crazy lines. But if this were a little drier, it would show up better. Ooh, that's so thick. Let's try again. I don't know. Mine's too wet. Oh, the other thing I did was come down here and kind of outline this container. And it's so messy that these messy lines just kind of go with it, you know? Your brain doesn't look at it like it's messy. It just kind of all fits together. And that just defines it a little bit. All right. That is about it, y'all. Was that fun? Did y'all enjoy that? Look how messy that is. I think I'm going to hang it on the wall. The gel pen is black. Yes, yes, yes. Is the gel pen how you made the roses before? Palette knife in roses. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't ever draw anything with this gel pen until I just use it for like details at the end. Just fun details at the end. I don't really draw with it. It's a black gel pen. You could use a fun Sharpie. Sometimes Sharpie won't write on top of this paint. Hold on, y'all are going fast. Can you please show us a close-up to see the, okay, I'll try. Did I already do that? Okay. Can you see it? They're just, it's so messy. When I hold this up, the lighting isn't great. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'll post some pictures. Thanks, everybody. Y'all are so sweet. What was the name of the gel pen? It's a Uniball Signo. And you can get white ones, black ones, silver ones, gold ones. And I just ordered a whole pack. And they're pretty awesome. I can post a picture of them later if that helps. That's it, everybody. I got 5 minutes left. I'm doing okay. All right, let's see if I can put my face back in here. I don't know how. No, I don't want to ban myself. How do I do that? Exit. There it is. Yay. Okay. I hope that you guys had fun. I did want to tell you that I did follow me on Hometown Paints if you're not already. This is being broadcast in several different places, so you might be watching me on Hometown Paints. But if you're not, then follow me on Hometown Paints. I do teach in-person classes, but I also teach classes online. And my next online class is these fun hydrangea flowers. So they're a little less messy and crazy than these right here, but they're also really easy to do, and I'd love to teach how to do it. The other thing that is a flamingo. So we're going to do both of these in April. So if you're interested, then go over to Hometown Paints. And I'd love to have you sign up for that. But I only have a few minutes left. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for liking my page and liking the Hometown Creatives, not Hometown Creatives, Coast to Coast Creatives page. I don't know what I said a minute ago. We appreciate it so much. It just means a lot to us that you're here to watch us and share things and, you know, be in our community. We just love you guys. And we love to create and make things and hang out with everybody. I hope that you will give this a shot and take a picture when you do and post it, because I can't wait to see what you make. I think they'll all be different and they'll all be beautiful. I can't wait to see it. We'll just have like a big flower garden of paintings. Won't that be fun? What else? Next. Who is next? I had this under control and now I have lost it. Who is next? Robin Smith from Art Adventures is next. So she's painting a fun little like mixed media birdhouse kind of thing. That looks fun. She's next. She'll be up in a few minutes, and then we have a whole day full of other fun things. So don't go anywhere, or if you do, go somewhere, come back, watch us, share us, invite your friends, all that good stuff, and can't wait to see your work. So y'all have a good day, and thank you so much. Love you guys. Let me find the button. Bye, everybody. Have a good day.